The WCA home has private rooms for seniors who need assisted living. We are a nonprofit home founded 125 years ago for women, now seeking approval for men. Our mission has always been top-notch assisted living. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Doc Hamels, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. I got my very wild colored shirt here to wake up everybody, and I'm going to be out and about in Jamestown and in Westfield all day, so I want to be bright so everybody can see where I am. Well, I hope you're having a great weekend already. The weather has finally come through for us. Just beautiful weather. We were remarking out my way last night that it was like a perfect evening. The temperature was right, the sunset was great, no winds. It was just a great day, and we've got I think a whole week full of it coming up, and it just gets better and better. I want you to stay tuned to the show today because what we're going to be talking about is what's really cool in Chautauqua County, but it's recreational, it's family-oriented, it's free of charge, and you've got to do this. And I'm going to be doing it this summer with my granddaughter. We've already made an agreement, but I'm not going to tell you what it is till we get to it. So just stick around, and as always, if you can't watch the whole show, remember we're on at 2 and 8 later on in the week and tonight, and you can listen to me on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people in Jamestown. Good afternoon to my listeners over there. Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. Thanks for joining us. And as I was mentioning, stick around and listen to the show because you're going to find something well worth listening and learning about for this summertime or wintertime, year-round. This is a year-round thing that we're going to be talking about. Okay, if you want to call us with a comment or question throughout the show, give us a call at 753-5225. You can Twitter us, you can email us, you can messenger us, you can do whatever you want. As I always say, if you're too shy to call in directly and talk to me or my guest, you can tell whoever answers the phone what your question or comment is, and they'll share it through my earpiece. And remember, it doesn't even have to be necessarily an announcement for your organization. It can be happy birthday greetings like this one right now. Linda Spalding, our dear friend from the Office for the Aging, is having a birthday today. So good morning and happy birthday, Linda. I know you're watching because she often calls in So I hope you're having a great birthday and a wonderful birthday weekend. So that's how easy it is. And if you have something like that, call it in. We'll be happy to share it. Okay, I have a few things I want to share with you from this past week and was coming up here pretty quick. I had a good opportunity to do something that's pretty unusual this past week. My wife and I, we hosted an individual from Australia. Our Rotary Club in Westfield, the Westfield Mayville Rotary Club, helped to host 4 Australians as part of an agricultural exchange through the vocational training team, they call it, VTT. And I have their pictures, and I promised them, since I couldn't get them on my show because we couldn't get it worked out, that I was going to have their pictures, and I was going to mention their name, and then I'm going to send this link to Australia so they can see that I kept my word. So these 4 people joined us in Westfield for dinners, and the leader of the group, there's Les Mitchell. He actually ended up playing my guitar. It's a long story. At a wonderful reception we had at Johnson Estate Winery over in Westfield. Fred Johnson was the host of that because he had gone to Australia as part of the exchange back in March with a team of folks sponsored by Rotary. And then these folks came to the United States, and they are presently in Canada learning about our agricultural techniques. Then you got Elizabeth. Whoa, bring Elizabeth back here. She was lots of fun. She was very lively, and bring Elizabeth, that first picture up, Jeff, again. There we go. Elizabeth was really a lot of fun, and Les says that they were going to sing a song, and they ended up singing Waltz and Matilda, but she said to me beforehand, she says, I'm not singing anything. And guess who was the leader of the singing? She was out there clapping and jumping around and having a lot of fun. So those were 2 of the 4. Okay, the next slide, please. Okay, Jonathan Van Poppering, he spent 2 nights with us at our house, and my dog Max was not happy at all because he was taking up Max's territory. And I think it was like 3 hours after John left, Max found his way back into the bedroom and jumped on the bed and reclaimed his territory. But John and I had some great discussions about anything from birds in America to kiwi growing in Australia, and just a great time. And of course, Ross, Aberfield, he was very, very knowledgeable about insects and things like this, and he and I had a great discussion about politics as well when we were on tour. So anyways, I want to thank the Australians for coming to our part of the world, and there you have it. I introduced them, and I did my part. So let's keep in touch, folks down under, and hopefully you have a safe trip on your way home. All right. For those of you that are interested, this time of year there is all kinds of entertainment and things going on just everywhere. And Will and I are going to be today in Jamestown at the farmers market playing from noon to 1 o'clock. And then I'm going to zoom over to the Jamestown Soapbox Derby, spend some time there. My dad has a lot of his memorabilia there that we have on display. He would have liked that, and I'm sure he would have liked to join us, but unfortunately he passed away last year. But we're honoring him, and Randy Anderson was kind enough to do a display at the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame of Dad's stuff. But we're going to be visiting John Williams and company down there for a little while. Then later on, I'm going to be over at the McClure Mansion in Westfield. We're going to be playing for their gala. On Wednesday, we're over to the Grape Discovery Center for their Wine with Us on Wednesdays. And then Friday, back to Jamestown, the wine cellar. There's a theme in their wine, I guess. And then Saturday, we're going to be playing the cruise in at the Grape Discovery Center. So lots of music, and that's just us. And then all the other musicians are just playing all over the place. So once again, as I always say, Chautauqua County is just bursting with lots of fun things to do. I want to remind you that Destination Chautauqua, the show Destination Chautauqua will be covering the 4th of July parade here in Mayville live, and Rick Mascaro and I are going to be hosting that together, and it's always lots of fun with Rick as he's lively, and just going to let you know that that's coming up. And if you don't go to the parade, you can watch it right in your own homes live. And then you can watch it again later because they're going to rerun it throughout the weeks to come and put it on YouTube. Now, I want to get to other announcements throughout the county. So let's go over to Jamestown. Our good friends at Infinity. Okay, today at 7 o'clock, the Infinity Spring Showcase. Students from the Infinity Visual and Performing Arts Center have been working hard since October to prepare for this year's annual Spring Showcase, sponsored by Schultz Auto Group. The Infinity Spring Showcase will take place today at the Jamestown High School Auditorium at 7 o'clock. And I'm proud to announce that Chautauqua Sunrise has been a sponsor of this, I think, for at least the last 3 years anyways. We helped provide for the program and things like that, the booklets. Infinity students have the opportunity to practice and hone their talents through various performance opportunities at the Infinity Arts Cafe and throughout the community. Spring Showcase serves as the largest student performance of the year. The Spring Showcase is a well-rounded evening of student performers featuring various music ensembles and soloists, as well as dance and theater performances. You will be amazed at the amount of talent displayed on the stage and the amount of hard work the students put into this event. Infinity students have had the pleasure of working with instructor and area musician Steve Davis, who has served as this year's artistic director of the show. Steve has been a piano and drum instructor at the Infinity Center since 2003 and is one of the original 7 students from the very beginning of Infinity's history. With the help of Steve and the other instructors, Infinity students have an excellent showcase planned for audience members. The cost to attend is $10. Children under 18 are free. All right, tickets can be purchased I guess you're going to have to purchase them at the door now because it's a little bit late for anything else. In addition to a great performance by the area youth, Infinity will be offering the chance to win one of 3 gift baskets. This year's include $150 cash, $300 in gift certificates to area restaurants, this is a cool one, or a handmade chainsaw carved guitar by Vince Luizzo. I could use one of those. My wife wouldn't be happy, but I could use one. Tickets are $5 each, or 4 for just $10. They can be purchased right there at the time. For more information throughout the day, if you want to know more, call 664-0991. Okay, then quickly, mark your calendars. September 8th is the 15th Annual Local Music Showcase, and this announcement is basically for any musicians or soloists, groups, bands, whatever, that are interested in donating some time to perform that evening. Give them a call again at 664-0991. This is a great evening of music throughout Jamestown. I've played it a number of years, and for a small amount of money, you can listen to just about every style of music you can imagine. Okay, let's move on to Westfield. The Chautauqua County Historical Society Gala Fundraiser. All right, that's happening this evening. All proceeds from the annual Standing Ground fundraiser tonight at the McClure Museum will be used to support Chautauqua County Historical Society's mission to preserve and interpret objects and archives of local significance. Admission to the annual fundraiser is $50. This is a fundraiser now. This is huge. Standing Ground will take place from 6 to 8 at the historic McClure Museum in Westfield's Moore Park, located at the corner of Routes 394 and 20 in the village. For tickets and reservations, there's still time, 326-2977. All right, the fundraiser will include complimentary hors d'oeuvres and wine tasting, along with musical entertainment provided by the dynamic folk country acoustic rock duo Doc and Willie, otherwise known as Doc Hamels and Will Russell. Attendees will also have the opportunity to tour the 14-room federal-style McClure Mansion and learn about current and upcoming renovations from the Historical Society Board of Directors and volunteers. Okay, so that's coming up tonight, and right along with that, on the outside of the building, while we're playing music, is the 9th New York Cavalry Encampment. And it looks just like that, folks. And for those who listen on the radio, unfortunately, it'll be over. But hopefully you heard about this in time. They actually do reenactments of little battles and skirmishes right on the grass there. And a couple times it kind of scared me. I heard these guns going off. But it's really cool to have their tents and everything. So let me read what this says. Their annual tradition of the 9th New York Cavalry Encampment is once again ready to take place in Westfield's Moore Park. The members of the cavalry and the invited guests will set up camp late this afternoon and throughout the Sunday. Events will include drills and demonstrations at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Saturday, and 1:30 p.m. Sunday. Battle reenactments, craft demonstrations for children, candlelight tours, and so forth. The popular Civil War letter reading program will also return this year. The Chautauqua County Historical Society trustees Pam Brown and David Brown will be sharing information on and reading letters written by Civil War soldier Mark Roach of Harmony to his wife Emily. The reading, which is free and open to the public, will take place at 2 p.m. this afternoon at St. Peter's Episcopal Church located next to the park. Okay, and there's just so much other stuff going on. But if you have never been there, it's really a lot of fun. You just park, and it's free of charge, and you can see how they made candles and how they did their camps and all that sort of thing. And they're in full uniform. The women are in hoop dresses. While I'm playing, very often they'll come walking into one of the rooms, and the women can barely get through the doorway because the dresses are about 3 feet wide. And the men, of course, are all in uniform with their sabers and so forth. 326-2977 for more information. Okay. Just to remind you to mark your calendar, First Friday in Westfield continues, and the next one coming up is on July 6th, and they have all the various vendors are out on the street, and people that have their businesses. There's live music, food, and shopping, and also you can go check out all the fish that are on display. There's 87 of them throughout the town. All right, let's see here. Let's see what it says here. Okay. The annual, oh, wait a minute, I see what's going on here. I'm going to just go through a bunch of summer event highlights. So that was one of them. The Jamestown Jammer season kicked off this weekend, and there are many weeks of great baseball going on at Russell Dietrich Park in Jamestown. And then you also have the Babe Ruth Baseball World Series coming in August. And then, you should know this weekend is the annual Strawberry Festival at Merritt Estate Winery in Forestville, and they got music and vendors and car show and all kinds of good stuff. The Great Lakes Experience Festival returns to Dunkirk this weekend as well. This is a free family event featuring environmental displays, health and wellness organizations, live animals, food trucks, and so much more. The 2018 summer session at Chautauqua Institution will open up on June 23rd with Grammy Award-winning Alison Krauss on stage, and it runs through August 26th. Did I mention there's a lot to do in Chautauqua County? Lilydale Assembly, the largest center for spiritualism, will be opening their season on June 29th. There's a PGA Health Challenge at Peak and Peak in Clymer on July 5 through the 8th. The annual Music in the Park concert in Mayville's Chautauqua community starts on July 5. There's a Grand Prix race up in, in Dunkirk. The Lake Erie waterfront in Dunkirk will provide prime viewing opportunities for this huge international speedboat racing, and that's August 17th through the 19th. So we'll talk more about these as time goes by. Real quick, over in May, just down the road at Webb's Miniature Golf, on June 13th, there's the first annual Chautauqua Leadership Network Mini Golf Tournament. Okay? Give Big CHQ, Give Big Chautauqua on June 14th. Give Big CHQ is a 24-hour online fundraising event designed to raise as many dollars as possible for local nonprofits across our region. This extraordinary event inspires people to come together, show pride in their communities, and support local organizations and causes they care about. You go to Give Big CHQ, that's all one word, givebigchq.org to donate on June 14th. So that's coming up. All right, then we have the 5th Annual Charity Golf Classic for the United Way of Northern Chautauqua County, and that's going to be on June 15th, and that's going to be held at the Tri-County Country Club, and it's $110 per person, and $125 now because the registration's over the early bird. 18 holes of golf, cart, greens, and so forth, dinner, all kinds of good stuff. For more information, contact them over at the foundation at 366-5424. That's the United Way of Northern Chautauqua County. Okay, we're going to skip over that. We'll come back to that later. We're going to go to slide 20. I'm going to jump over a few things here. WRFA's 2018 Great American Picnic, I Love the 80s. Okay, is going to be June 26th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Southern Tier Brewing Company. That always is a great time from what I'm told. And then our friends at the Mayville Library just down the road, they have a great big book sale starting on June 29th. And it's going to run through the 7th. And if you need some good summer reading, there's all the dates. I won't go through all of them, but the magazines, puzzles, and a whole bunch of more. Even movies are selling. So check it out for their summer sale. And let's see. Let's do mark your calendar. Taste of Westfield is coming up on July 14th. It's going to be at the Westfield Farmers and Artisans Market from 9 to 2. And the rain date is July 21st, but they're going to have all kinds of vendors, and it's going to be the theme of Taste of Westfield. And we'll tell you more about that, but mark your calendar, July 14th. And the last one I want you to mark your calendar, because it's down the road, is the Roger Tory Peterson's Wild America Nature Festival, which is going to be held once again at the Panama Rocks, and that's going to be July 28th and 29th. And I'm sure we're going to get more information on that, and we'll share that. But mark your calendars. So if you're just checking in for Chautauqua County for the summer, all kinds of things to do here. So I'm going to take a breather, and we're going to be right back. This is for you. Stay tuned.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
And we're back, and welcome back to Chautauqua Sunrise. My guest today is someone that I was sitting listening to at a Rotary meeting a couple months ago, and I said to myself, I don't know enough about this, and I wonder if you know about this. So I mentioned earlier that the program today is about an activity that you can do free of charge with your family. It's all good stuff. And so I want to welcome Jim Fincher, who's the president of the Chautauqua County Rails to Trails. Did I get that right?
Chautauqua Rails to Trails.
Chautauqua Rails to Trails. Forget the county part.
Forget the county.
See,
That's right.
I have so many organizations on here. Sometimes there's a county's in there, sometimes it's not.
Right.
Chautauqua
Right.
Rails to Trails. Okay, and Jim, thank you for coming in today.
My
and
pleasure.
taking up part of your Saturday morning. But I think what you got to share today is so cool. And when I saw and heard about the things you were talking about, I'm thinking to myself, why don't I know about this? Why don't I know about these places that you have your trails and stuff?
Yeah.
So let's first start a little bit about yourself. So for the folks that are listening and watching right now, who's Jim Fisher? What did you do? And
I spent 25 years in the Air Force
okay.
as a medical service corps officer. And when I retired, I came back here where my family was, and heard that Chautauqua Rails to Trails with Bob Burke and Sam Thorndike wanted a part-time trail manager. And it sounded like fun, so I raised my hand and they said, sure. And that was basically maintain the trails and work with people who were interested in the trail.
How long ago was that?
2000.
So 18 years ago.
18 years
Wow.
ago, right. And then my wife retired, and I retired, but I kept the job. The other one was paid, kinda.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer in the Rails to Trails program. We are one of, I don't know how many trail organizations in the state. We are one of the 14, I think it is, trail organizations that belong to EPTA, the Erie to Pittsburgh Trail Alliance. We're trying to get a trail from Buffalo to Pittsburgh, a continuous trail. Then there would be a continuous trail from Albany to Buffalo to Pittsburgh to Washington, D.C.
Oh my gosh.
About 1,000 miles.
Now, where did this concept come from? I mean, is there a history to this?
Oh, yeah. Back in 91,
Okay.
the railroad advertised they were going to sell their interest in the rail beds. This was the Pennsylvania Railroad. They quit running trains up this part of the world. And John Goodell, who was Andy's dad from Jamestown, thought that this would be a great way to get a recreational trail started in the county. So he approached Bob Burke, and the two of them got on the bandwagon. And then they recruited other people into the idea, and they raised enough money to buy the rail bed that extends from basically state line down in Clymer up to Brockton.
Oh my gosh.
A total of, it'd be about 40 miles. Since then, we've sold some of that. Part of it's laying fallow. But they did start the rail trail. They put a lot of amenities into it and improvements, and it exists now from the center of Sherman, back of the restaurants, all the way up to the other side of Brockton, north side of Brockton, with a few breaks because the railroad sold some pieces of their bed to civilians.
So a railroad has tracks. Are the tracks gone?
Tracks are gone. The railroad
They took them out for
Pulled
all
up
those miles. They took out the
pulled
railroad
up the track.
ties.
Oh yeah, they sold the tracks.
They probably scrapped the
Big
rail.
money, you bet. And the ties, they can be picked up and sold.
Yeah, people use it for landscaping
Sure,
or
you bet.
edging or whatever.
You bet. And then they've got leveled out, so you don't have the lumps and bumps from where the ties were. And now it's just a recreational trail, mostly for hiking. It's for fat tire bikes, that is the mountain bikes. Road bikes have little skinny tires and they don't do too well on the road surface.
We were just talking about that because some of us have like mid-sized bikes, and so maybe that would be okay.
I've got a mid-sized bike. It works just fine.
Okay, good to know. Okay, so where do we start with all this? I remember your presentation. You know, I'll tell you what. Why don't we pop up the map?
Sure.
Okay, we have that, I believe, Jeff, and let's project it. And for those that are listening, we'll do our very best to describe it. So right now we're looking at a map of Chautauqua County. I'll look over here.
Yep.
And it looks like there's quite a bit, we would say what, west and north of Lake Chautauqua going towards Lake Erie.
Right.
Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay, so if people are listening or watching right now, where would be a good place for them to kind of, cut their teeth on the rails, the trails, if they want to go hiking or biking?
There are three major trailheads. One's down at Titus Road in Sherman, north of Sherman a little bit. And that's the southernmost part of the trail. There's another trailhead up here by the old train depot here in Mayville.
I see that just above the lake, right? Not far from here.
No, and you go north or south from there.
Oh, so you can go to like over to Sherman?
Yep, go
Or
south
you
to
can go
Sherman,
up into, where is
north towards Brockton.
that? Okay.
There's a trailhead. Actually, there's four trailheads. There's another trailhead up there, Prospect Station, which is pretty much east of Westfield.
Right.
That's where Barnes and Fish and Prospect Road come
Now
together.
that's way up in the hills, isn't it, on the escarpment?
Yeah, it is, on top of the escarpment.
All right.
In fact, Prospect Station was established because that's where the trains would stop when they came up from Brockton to put on more wood and water.
Oh, wow.
And it became a station. They had a nice little community up there at one time. And then down at Thayer Road, the bottom of the escarpment, down from the Overlook Park, there's another trailhead.
Okay, now,
So where you get on wherever it's most convenient for you.
so the different points you can drop in. Now, so right now, for those who are listening, we're looking at some green lines on this map. So that was actually the route the trains had?
It was.
That's kind of a zigzaggy kind of a route.
Well, we got some zigzaggy topography around here too.
So it's really following the lay of the land then?
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Okay.
Sure. There's a lot of cuts and a lot of fills on that rail bed. Where they cut through a hill and a fill where they filled in a valley. That's how you look at that.
So, for people that are listening right now, they're saying, well, I'm a modest hiker or walker. What's the difficulty of these trails? Are there some that are easier than others, or?
The rail trail is easy
Okay.
because it's a railroad. It was a railroad, and a railroad is fairly level. There's a 5% 1%, I think it is, grade from Prospect Station down to Brockton, which isn't much. There are some spots where the trains had to have a puller engine and a pusher engine and an engine in the middle.
Yeah.
That's why they would get up the hill and they have to stop and reload water and wood.
So
Back in those days, there weren't any trees on the hillside either.
Oh wow. So let's just say let's pick Sherman for instance.
Okay.
So if you wanted to start at Sherman, I believe there's a little park right there, and I think even there's a sign, if I remember right, it says Chautauqua, not county, Chautauqua Trail, Rails the Trails.
Sherman area, right.
And so you can park there. I mean,
Park right there.
area, so nobody's going to bother you. It's all you. Who owns all this property? The organization.
That particular area is owned by the village of Sherman.
Oh, so there's like a cooperation.
You bet. We partner with a lot of folks.
Okay. All right, so if I park my vehicle, get on my bike, or I'm walking, so I start down this trail, is it pretty well marked? I mean,
You
I
can't.
get lost real easy.
Well, the absolute truth is we need a few more wayfinding signs here and there.
Okay.
And we tell folks, if you can't quite figure out where you are, let us know so we can put a sign up. But in that part, you can't miss it because it goes through wetlands.
Okay.
And there's a couple of interpretive signs along the trail.
Oh, nice.
Then you run into some private land, which takes you right over to the east a little bit, and you're right on the rail bed again.
So you say private land, is that an issue for people to walk through?
No.
I mean, people have given you permission? to
Yes,
walk-
they've given us permission, easements,
Okay.
handshakes.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you a question that probably pops up, but I know sometimes people ask this question. If I get on that trail and I get hurt, who's liable?
Basically, the person that got hurt.
Okay.
Because it's so flat, it's going to be hard to get hurt. But we do carry liability insurance.
Okay.
But there's also a state law that says if you are recreating on private land, which is what we have,
At your own risk type thing?
basically, yes, you cannot receive monetary award for your injury.
Okay.
But you can still sue, which is what our insurance takes care of.
Right.
But you won't receive anything
I like to get
for
that
it.
up front sometimes with people because, there's people that just,
Oh, yeah. Well, we have insurance, and we extend our insurance to those landowners who help us out,
super.
who feel they need support.
So, people that are out there hiking, all right, let's stay with the Sherman route. So how long is it? How many miles?
Well, depends how far you want to go.
Well,
From Titus Road up to Summerdale Road's about 5 miles.
okay, that's not too bad.
Not too bad. I was counting up on the way up here how many road crossings there are on the trail. There's 17 road crossings between Sherman and Brockton.
Oh, so just
That's a
keep
lot.
Well, yeah, in the old days, you would have been stopping with your car.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
And they've taken out, I don't know who they is, they have taken out 4 or 5 bridges. There used to be a bridge across 430 at Sherman. Used to be a bridge across 430 in Mayville. There used to be a bridge across Summerdale. That's gone. I mean, Honeysett.
That's a history book unto itself, just the bridges of Chautauqua County.
yeah, sure.
That used to be in there aren't no longer.
Aren't there anymore, right. It is interesting.
When I was talking with the folks I mentioned earlier from Australia, they could hear the trains a lot because they were staying either in Ripley or Westfield. And I said, well, Chautauqua County is a main thoroughfare for railroads. I mean, and this is even another example of back in the days that this was really a busy area for trains.
Back in 1870s, there were more miles of active railroad track in Chautauqua County than any other county in the state.
I wonder why that was. It's just a crossroads kind of a thing?
Crossroads. A lot of oil. The railroad that we now own was built to haul oil from Pennsylvania up to Buffalo and on.
Yeah, and so on. And they were curious if the train tracks went into Canada. And I said, of course, wherever a track goes, they go.
That's right. Sure
So,
do.
very interesting. Okay, so folks so let's stay with Sherman again. So the people that are out there hiking, obviously they're doing it for physical activity and stay fit and it's healthy. Do you have birders out there for bird watching or nature hikers, looking for plants and animals, things? I mean,
All the above.
all the above.
Plus, you got treasure hunters.
Treasure hunters.
What do you call that?
The
Geocaching and all those.
All right, let's talk about that a little bit. I bet some folks may not know what geocaching is. Can you explain it?
No.
Okay, well, my understanding is
Not really well.
that there's organizations that will, I don't know, let's take this bottle for instance, and they'll put a little trinket in there, and they'll put it under a rock, and then they have a GPS, and they say,
That's right.
I've hidden something for you at this location, and then you have to use your little gizmo to find it, I guess.
Right. I was aware of, at one point, 14 different organizations that would do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's at least 3 on the rail trail.
Okay.
But you do have to look out for poison ivy. My grandsons went out and they got a little bit of poison
A
ivy.
little bit. Well, I think that's true of any of our backyards around here.
Yeah.
Jeff just told me on my earpiece here that there's an app for phones for the geocaching that you can use, and it'll take you everywhere. And families, they spend the weekend geocaching. And a lot of times, you get a little toy, or you sign a log book. Sometimes it might be under a rock and there's a book in a bag, and you say, I'm from Ripley, New York.
Sure.
It's just a kind of a fun thing using science and technology and all that sort of thing.
Exactly. That's a good way to get people moving.
Yeah. We talk about, the fact that more and more we seem to be thumbing our way over our iPads or our iPhones, and yeah, exactly. Good
Right.
sound effect too. And trying to get people out and about. And I know, the guys here and I, we're getting more and more into cycling, and just trying to get out of that routine of just sitting.
Right.
Just got to move. Okay.
Yeah, that's one of our reasons for existence, is to get people to moving, to enable them to hike, get back to nature in a safe environment. There's no cars on the trail. Shouldn't be anyway.
Yeah. So, you said there's 14 different organizations in
No.
New York State?
Well, that was just a guess.
Oh, well, no, I know. But I mean, that was in New York State.
Oh, you're talking about trail organizations?
Yes.
Oh, that was in Pennsylvania, basically.
Pennsylvania. So are there, like, across the country?
Oh, there's trail organizations everywhere.
Okay.
There's thousands of miles of just rail trail, which is a recreational trail built on an old railroad bed. Like in this county, you've got the east side and west side overland trails.
Mm-hmm.
They're more difficult to ride bikes on, and they're more difficult to walk on because there's a lot of this, and there's a lot of different things that make it more difficult. But the rail bed, it's had trains beating across the top of it for 150 years.
Right.
Well, it's pretty solid, and it sheds water pretty well.
Good.
There's a few spots where it gets a little soggy. We got to go fill it in.
Mm-hmm. Now, we popped up your map from your website. Are there any photos on that website that we can take a peek
Oh,
at?
yeah.
Jeff, if you can pop up any of the photos from there, and we'll chat about those as well, because I know you had some in your presentation, and it was really pretty interesting to hear about that. So we'll give them a minute.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest challenge of maintaining these trails?
Mowing them.
How do you do that? I mean, do you have big
Volunteers.
volunteer? Is this all volunteer organization?
All volunteer organization, right.
All right, so here we go. We've got a signage here that says Chautauqua, not Chautauqua County, Chautauqua Rails and Trails. And where's this at?
This is at Prospect Station,
Okay, so up on the escarpment.
not the escarpment. To the right of that picture, there are 2 benches. You can sit on those benches, look to the west, and see Lake Erie.
That's like at my house. I live on the escarpment in Ripley.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a little part on there all about your history, your mission, your various trails. And the website, if I remember right, let's see if I get it right, was CRTT.
CRTT, yeah. Right.
.org, is it?
.org, right.
Okay, CRTT.org. Were there any other photos out there, do you know, on your website? Or is that pretty much, I want to exhaust that if
Yeah,
there's anything else.
I can't remember if there's a photos tab at the top of the
All right, if there are,
website.
they'll pop it up while we're talking. Okay. Oh, trail rules. Oh, all
I
right.
got a
So
few.
let's talk about that. What are some of the key rules? People should know this.
No ATVs, no motorbikes, no motorized vehicles, basically, because they can be dangerous to the kids. I've got an ATV, and I'd love to go fast with it, but I don't take it on the rail trail. People will say, well, where can I ride my ATV? And I say, you should have thought of that before you bought the machine.
Do your homework.
We're hoping that we don't have any problem with dogs on the trail. We hope they stay leashed, and we hope that people pick up after them.
Right.
We allow horses on the trail. We don't expect the people to pick up after the horses. That stuff goes away in 2-3 days anyway.
No hunting, I noticed, or firearms.
No hunting on the trail. We don't have problem with people walking the trail with firearms to get to their hunting area.
Okay, so they can cross through, but just don't hunt on the property.
Right.
And then I saw something about no open fire, so no camp, no cooking.
We have no place for camping.
Okay, so it's just strictly hiking.
In and out.
In and out. Okay.
There's no garbage cans. You haul in, you haul out.
When you talked to our Rotary Club, you mentioned and showed us pictures, and we don't necessarily have to see the pictures because we can certainly use our imagination, but is it fair to say that there are things in Chautauqua County on those trails that we don't normally see because it's off the beaten path?
I think so.
And can you kind of whet their appetite a little bit about
Well,
some things they might see? Because I know you show pictures of some things, and I just thought, that's sitting in Chautauqua County, some of the bridges and culverts, and you were showing the way the water ran through there and stuff.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, there's a tunnel underneath the rail trail up in the town of Portland. It's 110 feet long, 12 feet high, 8 foot wide, made of stone blocks, sandstone blocks.
I was in awe of that.
Big ones. And it was built in about 1880, somewhere in that area. And it's had a lot of damage over the years from water. It's going to collapse one of these years. And you can get down to it. I mean, it's a steep gully located at the bottom of the trail in a steep gully. You can get down to it. Me, I use a rope. help me get down, help me get back up.
Oh my gosh.
And it's really interesting to look at. There are some flowers on the trail that I'm not a botanist, but people have told me that there's a flower on the Porter's Trail. Now that's a little bit different trail. That's the old trolley line trail. That it's not an endangered flower. It's not a rare flower, but it doesn't grow around here. But this fella found this flower on the Porter's Trail.
Really?
So I don't know exactly where it is, and we certainly wouldn't advertise it because people would want to pick it and take it home.
Right.
We are looking at the possibility of opening up another trail down in Frewsburg, from Riverside Road, the road that the Autobahn is on, up to Frewsburg. It'd be about a 2-mile long rail.
That'd be pretty near. It's pretty flat there.
It is. It's Dunkirk, Allegheny Valley, and Pittsburgh Railroad. Went up to Dunkirk at one time, carrying coal. We had a hike on that trail, that rail bed, to see if it would be feasible to turn that into a recreational trail. And Jeff Tome, the senior naturalist at the Audubon, was on it. And he just got all kinds of excited. He said, look at that flower there. That flower, it only blooms for a couple weeks a year, and there's only a certain kind of insect gets into the flower to fertilize it, and then it all the stuff.
Here in Chautauqua County.
Yeah, and he's I would like to put a interpretive sign right there, but I don't want to advertise the flower because somebody might come along and say, I want that in my backyard.
Yeah. It's funny. People just can't leave things where they are.
That's right. But I think that would be an excellent trail for a nature lover, because there's so many different things.
Right,
there.
and I think the geography there is totally different than like in Sherman. If I'm not mistaken, the Riverside Road there, that's kind of marshland, isn't it? I mean, and you can have different kind of birds, different amphibians, and as you already pointed out, the different plants.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Speaking of marshland, there at Titus Road, it's all swampy. I'm sorry. They don't call it swamp
Wetlands?
anymore, call it wetlands now.
Yes.
There've been 178 species of birds identified in that area.
178?
Yes.
Wow, I thought I was doing good at my house with 26. 178?
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was that.
Dick Megan Company did that.
Oh, I knew Dick. Yeah.
Yeah. And they have not counted the raptors.
Oh my gosh.
That's just, but some of the environment has changed. There used to be shorebirds. The water's gotten a little bit higher for whatever reason. Those shorebirds aren't there anymore. But it's stayed in it. The trail can be a birder's paradise. Up there in the Portland area, you're walking along the trail at treetop level. You got trees up here high, but on the low side, there's the treetop right there. I was walking on the Porter's Trail once, and I looked over in the side, and I saw a woodchuck up in the tree looking back at me.
A woodchuck? I didn't know they climbed trees.
I didn't either. I came down, jumped.
You heard it first here on Chautauqua Sunrise.
When I got home, I looked it up on the internet. Well, a woodchuck is a cousin to a squirrel, and they climb trees for the same
You
reason.
got those short little legs.
Because claws, I guess. But they go up the tree for food and to escape predators.
Oh my gosh.
It's just all kinds of wonderful things happen on the trail.
I bet. Okay, so let me ask you a question. I know where I live, I'm very rural where I live, and we have a lot of open lands and vineyards and things like that. Bald eagles are starting to show up. Are you seeing many along the trails?
Oh yeah, we have seen some. I got reports of some. I've seen some driving to the trail. But
You know, you think, oh, what's the big deal? But they were almost extinct, and now they're starting to come back, and there's just nothing like watching a bald eagle fly overhead. It's just absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
And the other bird that I really like is, and they come across right in front of my house very often, going, I don't know if it's from swamp to swamp or lake to lake, or the blue heron. They're huge.
Oh, yeah.
They kind of remind you of prehistoric days when they come flying by with those, I don't know, 4 or 5 foot wingspan. They're unbelievable.
Flop.
Yep, yeah.
very easily. Oh yeah, that's great.
Okay, so my understanding is that this is free of charge. Are there set hours that you can be on the trail?
No, we suggest that you stay off the trail after dark. There are bears around. Yeah, so
Bears.
not that they're dangerous, but you could fall off the trail if you're walking along a fill and you run into a bear in the dusk or something. You could run away and fall off the trail and hurt yourself.
So for those that are listening that are visiting the county for the first time or haven't been on these trails, so what's your recommendation as far as bears go? I mean, we always tell the kids the bears are more worried about us than the other way around.
That's right.
But stay away from a mom with a cub.
Absolutely.
Just don't mess with mama.
Don't mess with mama. Yeah. From what I hear, they say if there's 2 or 3 of you together, crowd together, put your arms around each other and holler.
Oh.
That'll usually scare the bear away. If you get between a mom and a bear and the cub, there's not a lot you can do except back away. Don't run. Do not run, because that turns you into prey.
Okay.
But back away slowly.
Okay.
Keep hollering at mama, and maybe the baby go away.
Yeah,
Scare
and
her away.
I would recommend too, bring your phone with you, because in case you do fall or you get in a situation, at least you can call somebody for some help.
You bet.
Folks, you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My guest today is Jim Fincher, who is the president of Chautauqua Rails and Trails. And if you have a question that you've been listening for the last 20 minutes or so about what's going on there, give us a call at 753-5225 or visit their website at crtt.org and for more information. But like I said, my my granddaughter and I, we already have it locked in that we're going to be at least doing the Sherman route this year. I understand in Westfield that down where there used to be a restaurant, they knocked it down, that there's going to be some kind of a trail coming out of there maybe on Portage, or is it already existing off of Welch Field maybe? Am I making this up?
I think what you're talking about is the Barcelona Harbor to Chautauqua Institution Trail.
You got it. It must be the same one. It's all right, in the general area there. I didn't know the exact. Is that a new trail?
It's brand new. It'll tie into the Portage Trail that we manage,
Okay.
the trolley line trail. That's the concept.
Okay.
Of course, getting there is always difficult.
Okay, we talked quite a bit about the Sherman one because that's close to my home. So tell us about the trolley line and run.
Trolley line starts on Route 430 in Mayville, right across the street from Family Health Services. It goes on private land, and a little bit more private land, gets up into Reed Powers land, and then you're onto Tom Parker's land, who runs all the way up to Quilliam Road.
Okay.
That's where the trail will stop.
Okay.
It runs on the exact footprint of the old trolley line. Come out of Jamestown. It was the Westfield. Oh God, I can't think of the name. JW, Jamestown, Westfield, and Northwest.
You're doing great. You're better than me in the morning, I'll tell you.
Jamestown, Westfield, and Northwest. It's that the
Little short one.
the shorter one.
So
there,
that's right in the middle of our map here.
Of the
So
Mayville.
basically, you start in Mayville and you head directly towards the lake, basically, on
Yeah,
the route.
exactly.
So that looks like a pretty,
And if you want to, you can you go up to Parker Road, turn right, take Parker Road over to the main rail trail, and back down to Westfield, back to Mayville. It's
And-
about a 6-mile loop.
6-mile loop, so that's pretty nice. So on these trails, you go out on the trail, do you come back on the exact same?
Come back on. Or if there's 2 or 3 or 4 people, you go out and stage a car at the far end,
Good idea, too.
which is, and I've heard of people, they say 3 or 4 people come in at it different ways. They trade car keys when they meet.
Oh, I had never even thought about that. That's an excellent idea.
It saves you having to walk back,
Hey,
especially.
guys, we should do that on the ride for Roswell. I'll give you my keys. We're doing a 30-mile ride in 2 weeks.
Ooh, that's a long ways.
Well, okay. So as far as the organization goes, you were talking about that you've done some reorganization within the Chautauqua Rails to Trails organizationally. You were going to share some committees and things like that?
Yes, the board of directors has established 5 standing committees, and I can't remember one of them.
That's all right.
Senior moment. But the ones I can remember
Yeah?
are maintenance.
Oh, a big one, I bet.
That's a big one. That's right. A grants and money finding committee.
Almost as big as the maintenance.
It could
That's
be.
always.
A financial and audit, and an events committee, and there's one other. We expect to have the chairman of the committee to be a member of the board.
Okay.
But the members of the committee, we're looking to find people in the membership or anybody that's interested in the rail trail. And we would just invite them to let us know. CHAURTT.org. AURTT.org. That's our website.
Oh, because we found it was just C.org.
CRTT@. That
There was a shorter one I found, so maybe I don't know.
maybe they both work.
Maybe it's an old one or something like that. Okay.
I'm a dinosaur when it comes to that stuff.
Well, anyways, if they just Google Chautauqua Rails to Trails,
That'll
it'll
do it.
pop right up
That'll
as
do it,
easily.
right.
Okay, so getting back to your organization, because I think there are people in this county that love to join organizations and help out from time to time, especially in the summertime. So how would they get a hold of you as far as trying to get on these committees or board?
On the website, there's a contact.
Okay, so just go to the website.
And my phone number is 665-3246.
Okay, and they would get a hold of you directly at that number.
Call directly.
All right, so for those that are listening right now and watching, how many people are on your board of directors right now?
There's 12 of us right now.
Wow, that's a big board. So do you have openings on the board? I mean, or are you pretty good right now?
Anybody that wants to help, we'll take your help. I think a couple of board members would just as soon get on a committee
Right.
and have fewer minutes, fewer meetings, perhaps.
So, and I'm assuming you're a 501c3, not-for-profit, all that good stuff. So if people donate to it, it's tax deductible. That's
This big CHQ that's coming up,
Oh, what I was just talking about, right?
it's on the website. Yeah, we are lined up, happily accepting contributions.
Okay, so let's go down through the 4 committees that we did remember. So if you wanted to work on maintenance and you're of that ilk, but obviously you're cutting grass, I'm assuming. What else?
Could do that. Right now, we need to paint our gates. We got these
Justin, you can paint.
batwing gates. We need, there you go.
Yeah.
We need to wash them with Clorox to get glop off. Then we need to scrape them, scrape the old paint off. We need to prime.
Oh, wait a minute. I just paint. I don't do all that.
Then we need to paint. Because if we don't do that, it
just
doesn't stay.
No.
The last time we did it's been about 7 years ago. So the paint lasted pretty well. We just got a grant. We just finished a grant from the Community Foundation to move 2 sets of gates from the Sherman area where they weren't working the way they're supposed to, up into the Brockton area, Portland area, where they do work.
Okay, I'm going to ask a silly question. Why do you need gates?
To keep cars and trucks off the...
You actually have to have gates to keep people...
Yeah. Now, I've got reports that young adults go in there at night.
Joyriding?
At
Oh,
night.
brother.
And then, you got to fill it's 30 feet to the bottom.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to fall off. Then somebody's got a problem. Not us.
Right.
Somebody else has got a
Somebody else
problem.
shouldn't have been there.
That's not...
Okay, so all right, so you're doing the gates, maintenance, and cutting grass. You got mowers, I assume?
We can get mowers, yeah.
Tree trimming?
Pardon?
Tree trimming, branches, or?
Branches, yeah, we have a pole saw.
Uh-huh.
You can get away up there and cut them back. The vegetation keeps trying to eat the trail all the time.
Yeah, I noticed
we
that in
gotta
my
go
house.
lop it back.
My lawn shrinks every year, it seems.
Exactly right. So we got to fight that. We got to fight the bushes.
Encroachment. Okay, so that's maintenance, obviously. Grants, I mean, that takes a kind of a specialty. Who are you looking for there?
It does. Anybody that's willing, anybody that can wordsmith, okay?
It's an art.
It's an art. There are some grants that are just god-awful, terrible to work your way through. But they're for the multi-million-dollar grants.
Yeah, the big stuff.
They're the big grants.
Okay.
But there's a lot of smaller grants that are much easier to get into. Yeah. I know grantsmanship is felt to be very difficult. It really isn't. No.
But you could use some people that maybe have some experience in the area.
Sure. Well, the biggest thing we got to do with the grants committee is come up with ideas, projects. Because you always want to. Grantors want a project.
They just don't need any money.
What are you going to do with this money?
How's it going to help the community? Okay. Finance and audit committee. What's their responsibility? Just
basically
checking the books.
Yeah, right. Basically, it's the treasurer who would be the chairman, and the audit is to just look at to make sure all the financial stuff's in order, and we would look at the strategic plan and see, are we meeting what the strategic plan says we should be doing? And if not, let's fix it.
Right. I know it's hard to believe, but we're down to a minute. And
really?
Yeah, right over here. See that? No time left.
Great.
So you have a committee that's called events. So do you have any events coming up?
We do. We've got a wine walk. And you have to look on the website to see what year it is, or what date it is, I forget. But we're going to start at Boxcar Barney's and walk down maybe a mile. And have 4 or 5 wine tasting outfits. And you walk back, gets people on the trail. Hopefully they won't stumble.
Sounds like a great time. Okay, folks, this is Jim Fincher. He's the president of the Chautauqua Rails and Trails. And if they want to get a hold of you, the number again?
665-3246.
And you got about 10 seconds left. Anything you want to tell people about the trails? What should they know?
Oh, take a hike.
Take a hike.
Take a hike. You need to do that.
Okay, folks, I hope you've been enjoying the show. I have. And like I said, it's on my to-do list for this summer, at least one of the trails. So